All right, welcome back. In my last video, I discussed how ADHD isn't just one thing, how it is physical, mental, emotional, and physical. And I also talked about some prerequisites, some basic understandings that will make it a lot easier to understand everything else that I'm going to talk about. And so the first thing, or the first bucket I want to break down is physical. So the big idea for physical is that the body is not getting what it needs. Like at a high level, like that's it. The body, think of it like a vehicle. I say this a lot. Vehicles need maintenance. Else they fall to shit and you got to get a new one. And the body is the same way. It needs certain things in order to function optimally. And a lot of us are not taught what those things are. I want to share in my experience what the body needs. If you want to take care of your body, here's the best way to get rid of your physical symptoms. The first thing is food. This is what I'm still learning every day, right? Like food, it has been entangled with our thoughts and emotions and beliefs and cultures and customs and traditions and all sorts of stuff, right? At the end of the day, if we want to think of food in like a very simple way, food is energy. So if you want the physical body to have energy, you need to put the correct food in there. If you don't, the body will not have energy. Plain and simple. And two, like there's a lot of, some people might call, I was going to say misinformation, but some people will say what I'm saying is misinformation. So I guess you just have to see for yourself through your own experience. I tried a lot of diets and I did a lot of over exercising and other things and calorie deficits and restricting and all this other BS that just wasn't working before I landed on something that did. And so I didn't just believe any one person. I tried all sorts of things until I found something that worked. So that is my suggestion to you. So again, I'm going to get into what worked for me. And the best fuel for me and my body, and what I personally believe is almost everyone's body, is fruits, vegetables, herbs and leafy greens, and wild foods. Medical Medium coins these as the Holy Four. If you want to fuel your body, those foods are the way to do it. If you want to properly fuel your body and you want it to feel good, to do the things that you want it to do, the foods that I listed before are going to be the ones that you want to eat primarily. And like I myself still dabble in foods off that list because I also just enjoy them. So find whatever balance works for you. But I know before I was eating very much a high fat, high protein diet, and I was fat. Had very low energy. Mentally, cognitively so slow. Just going from the everything diet, standard American diet, and going from plant-based whole food, changed everything for me. And so I was like, let me take it further. Today, mostly eat fruits, and I have one meal a day of whatever the fuck I want. So that's just what works for me. So find something that works for you and make it work for the level of energy that you want. And the next thing is that I think that is important to mention is the detox, right? So people will switch to these foods that are more fueling, but what they're not prepared for or even expecting is the amount of detox that occurs. when you start giving your body what it needs, right? After not having it for so long, after being neglected for so long, um, the experience can be unpleasant. There's a lot of gook in the body that it needs to get out, and the process isn't like rainbows and sunshine. But what I will say is it always passes. And I also will say it usually gets worse before it gets better. I don't know why that's the thing, but like in my experience, whenever something like a symptom is about to leave, it gets the worst it's ever been. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it almost makes me like go back. But then I'm like, I'm gonna stick with it because like each time it went away and then each time it does. So I'll just say that. Um, if it's not going away, it's because you're dabbling too much on two ends of the spectrum. You got to choose one. Are you going to heal or are you going to continue to feed the issue? Simple as that. But I want to say be prepared for the detox because it's coming. It just is, and I think people are so used to like the instant gratification. You take the pill, the problem's gone. You go back to doing what you're doing without changing anything. And then you get to this, something that's more permanent, and they're like, I don't feel good right away. And yeah, you're just really not. The body hasn't been feeling good for a while. It has to go through this rebalancing. So just be prepared for that. Looking at my notes because like y'all, this is a lot. So there are also foods to avoid. And I'm not gonna go too deep into this one because it's almost like people feel attacked. And I get it because we've formed these special relationships with these foods. These foods made us feel safe. These foods made us feel satiated, maybe in times where like satiation was like really hard to come by. Like food has done a lot. They emotionally soothe us. And when I when I start listing foods that really just don't do the physical body any good, um, in the past I've received a lot of like defensiveness, and I get it, and I get it. So I'll just say the ones for me that I absolutely avoid because they're not even worth like the short term pleasure, and that is eggs, dairy, and most like I would say most chemicals like natural flavors and MSG and all those things. I used to have extreme um, allergies. And from my experience, they were due to all like the heavy, like the foods with all the chemicals, with like the 100 list ingredients. Like those had me taking allergy pills every day. Like, and if I didn't, I would feel like I had the flu. So those are the things I stay away from because they make me super mucusy. I start getting flu-like symptoms, and I just don't enjoy it, and it's not even worth it. So those are the ones I stay away from. If you want to learn more, I would suggest just go get the Medical Medium series, or read Dr. Sebi, or I don't know, find some plant-based dietitian that you really like. Just find something that resonates with you, right? And experiment. Like a lot of people will say to me, I eat this every day and I'm just fine. I don't have any problems. Like my ancestors have been living off this for years. And I'm just like, that's great. That's great. Cool. Have you tried not eating eggs for maybe 30 days and seeing how your body feels and then adding eggs back in? And the answer is usually no. They've never even lived without eggs to even know how their body's really even feeling. Like it's hard to see like the imbalance. When the imbalance is there every day, you get used to living with it, right? You get used to the symptoms. But when you remove the issue and your body has a break and you get used to how that feels, and then you add the problem back in, you're like, whoa, hold on. So my suggestion is to just experiment again, like play around, see what works best for you. So another one is fasting. So there's dry fasting, there's water fasting, there's juice fasting. All of these are so helpful. Or in my experience, why they are so helpful is because they really expose your thought processes, your belief systems, Like I just don't even think people understand like what taking away food does to observing one's thoughts. But when you take away food, it really like food really takes up a large portion of our life. Like you gotta go to the grocery store, then you gotta prep it, then you gotta prepare it, then you gotta cook it, then you gotta eat it, then you gotta clean it, and then maybe you're prepping for the next day, and then you do it all over. And then most people are eating like 3+ times a day, so that's just a lot of time. So when you're not doing that, you really have a moment to just sit with yourself, like really observe what's going on up here, and it really exposes some shit. And I feel like that's why fasting is so like instrumental in the physical piece. I mean, not the physical piece, also the mental piece. But I'm not going to talk about that there. I'm going to talk about it here. But the reason why I put it in physical is because when you fast, it really gives the body a break. The body doesn't have to put all this energy into digesting. Digesting takes so much energy, and when you're digesting all day, that is all day your energy being put into something else other than, other things that you're trying to do. And so when that energy is freed up, you can really see what you're capable of physically, So and then also too, most people when they're fasting, they're not putting gunk in the body. So it really gives the body a break from like, oh Lord, here comes another beer. Like, let me sop up the alcohol before it gets to the brain. Like, that's a lot of work for the body to be doing. And like, imagine if you're drinking every day, like I was. So it just gives the body like such a break to, instead of focusing on the things that are immediately happening coming into the mouth, it gets to go to, things that have been on the back burner for months and really focus on that and clean some shit up. So I feel like that's why I'm putting it in the physical bucket. And most people, I feel like when they start fasting, they're so overcome with the mind and don't yet really have a good grasp on those prerequisites I was speaking of, that this is just even like all the mind stuff is missed. And they're just like feeling hunger and all this type of stuff. Next, because I could keep going. Movement, which I like to movement and exercise. This was one that came later to me. And I think it was mostly because I associated, like, again, a belief that I had in place. I had a belief that, like, being in the gym, being buff, being brawny or whatever was something I didn't like the look of. And so I didn't have any desire to work out and exercise outside of like team sports. I thought the only reason why I would go to the gym or like do some physical activity outside of something that I found like super fun was to have a certain look. And I didn't want a certain look, so I didn't go to the gym. I didn't understand that the gym was to maintain the body, to make sure that it wasn't just about looks. Like it was also about making sure that my muscles can continue to do what I want them to do. Like making sure that they had the stamina to do what I want them to do. And so, from like middle school to college, I did sports and then I didn't. And then I blew the fuck up. And then I started to work out again, once I lost the weight and did some healing. And I had recognized like how important after I lost all my muscle, how important it was. I was like, wow, like I remember my hips feeling so sore when I started to run again. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done to my body? Like, and it's not like I just was sitting from like college to when I started working out again. I was skating, I was rollerblading, but it just wasn't intentional enough. There wasn't enough awareness either in the exercise. There wasn't There wasn't any intention. I was just rolling and having fun. Like that was pretty much it. And so fast forward to today, I have made it a routine to get some type of workout in, whether that is hiking, running, or just like a quick workout where I'm doing like calisthenics type exercises, or I'm in the gym lifting weights. I'm doing something. It don't even feel right if I'm not. Like it don't even feel right. Like it feels wrong. But I just didn't understand the importance of it. And on a physical level, your muscles store energy. So the bigger your muscles are, the bigger your storage is. So this was just something I just really just lost sight of. I really was very much like, I don't care how I look, but it wasn't about looks. And I do care how I look, but I was too focused on externally instead of internally. So like if that's you, maybe take a look at working out again. Movement is so important. And I think we become more aware of this as we get older. But don't wait till you're old as shit, right? Like don't wait till it's hard to do it. Just maintain it and keep it up. It's so much easier. So much easier. So I've talked about everything. If you're interested more in like a very specific topic that you want me to dive deeper into, let me know in the comments. Happy to do that. But here's the thing. This is the physical side, the physical aspects. So even if you're on top of all of these, if you're ignoring the emotional aspects, you're still going to have ADHD symptoms. You're still going to have symptoms, and they're going to keep showing up in different ways. And that's what I'm going to talk about in my next video.